So I want to set our intention today, with your permission, with an enormous sense of delight, with enormous sense of destiny, the unimpeachable and irreplaceable importance of what's going on here every week at Many Pass One Mountain. As we are in this moment between dystopia and utopia, and we're literally poised between these two worlds, as we summon the energy of the evolutionary impulse, whose insides are lined with love, and we respond to what we know to be the Leonardo da Vinci moral imperative, the overriding demand of this time, which is to articulate a new story, to actually articulate a new global ethos for a global civilization. We understand deeply that the potentia, the potentiating, the possibility that awaits us for good and beauty and goodness and truth is unimaginable. And at the same time, we stand poised before a level of catastrophic risk, and not only catastrophic risk, but we're at the precipice. As Toby Ord correctly wrote in his book by that name, we're at the precipice of true existential risk. That is to say, there is no future, that we actually devastate the basic systems of reality, and either humanity disappears or is so crippled, so unflourishing, so devastated that we never recover. And in this moment, patchwork solution won't work. Individual nations retreating into their silos won't work. Polarization is poison. We need to actually come together in order to create coherence. And coherence is only based on intimacy. Coherence means that there's a shared identity between the parts that create then a larger whole. And that larger whole is intimate. There's a shared identity. There's mutuality of recognition. We recognize each other. There's mutuality of pathos. We feel each other. There's mutuality of purpose. We have shared purpose together. Global coherence based on a new evolutionary intimacy can only be achieved, can only be realized through the only thing that creates intimacy, which is a shared story. Every couple of every kind, every familia of every kind that actually shares destiny and not only fate. Sharing fate's not enough. We have to share destiny, meaning we have a shared story. We're part of a shared plot line. We have a shared vision. We have a shared telos. We're in some sense going to the same place together. Not that we lose diversity. Diversity is an essential part of union. Gorgeous, unique Self Symphony in which every nation, every people, every group of people plays stunningly their own instrument in the unique Self Symphony. And it's even a jazz symphony. We even step back in adulation and adoration as we hear the notes of particular gorgeous players at particular moments, this nation or that religion or this system of thought. But it is a symphony. We're part of the same music. We value that music. We share a fundamental musical score. There's a shared story. And what is a shared story itself? What a shared story actually is a weaving together of separate parts of the best and deepest wisdom from pre-modern times until the Renaissance, then modernity, and then post-modernity from, let's say, the mid-50s, early 60s till today. All of the major wisdom streams, the validated leading edge insights from all the major insights, pre-modern, modern, and postmodern, woven together in a new coherent, intimate whole, that is a new story. That's a new configuration of intimacy, because the crisis we face, the pandemic in all of its poisons, is but the expression of the deeper fault lines in society. The core is a global intimacy disorder. It's a crisis of intimacy. And we only heal a crisis of intimacy by articulating the next step, the next vision of intimacy. Because reality itself, evolution itself, is the evolution of intimacy. And I'm speaking here not metaphor and not mysticism. I'm speaking science, interior and exterior science. Reality is evolution, and reality is the evolution of intimacy. Reality is the progressive deepening of intimacies from the first three quarks that come together in the first nanoseconds of the Big Bang until, right, all the steps of separate parts cohering intimately in larger and more gorgeous wholes, new configurations of intimacy. So as we face this crisis of intimacy, this global intimacy disorder, poised between utopia and dystopia, facing catastrophic and existential risk, and yet holding the radical positivity and optimism of evolution itself that's moving towards the weaving together of new wholes from separate parts. The way we respond to the crisis of intimacy is to articulate, to generate a new configuration of intimacy, because it's only new configurations of intimacy that respond to crisis. Our crisis is a birth. Our crisis is an evolutionary driver, as my beloved homemate, evolutionary partner, Barbara Marx Hubbard, said with us. And Barbara's here with us today. And this new set of first principles and first values, the sense of evolution as the evolution of intimacy and the evolution of love, this movement from what Barbara used to call Homo Universalis to what Barbara and I called together Homo Amor, this emergent of a new human and a new humanity who is a unique configuration of perspective and intimacy, of outrageous love. That's what animated her. That's what she was on fire with. And Barbara, you're with us today, and we're with you, right? We're all together. That's our intention. Our intention is to play a larger game. Our intention is to step into the breach and to be the revolution, to speak on the abyss of darkness and say, let there be light, to cry out against all forms of injustice, and more importantly, right, to add light, to add intimacy, right, to actually articulate the new story, because it's only that shared story that in this moment of humanity's 11th hour will allow us to walk through the breach and birth gorgeousness and beauty for the trillion possible future generations, instead of this generation or one of the next 5 or 10 being the last one. So we couldn't be more serious, and we couldn't be more delighted. We couldn't be more devoted, and we couldn't be more devastated. We laugh out of one side of our mouth, we cry outside of the other, and we set our intention. So with your permission, right, all of us gathered around the world, we link hands. So I am so personally honored, privileged, delighted to be with you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And if I can, with our ritual of every week, can I ask you a question? Are you ready to play a larger game? Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm looking in the chat box. Are you ready? Are we ready to play a larger game? Are we ready? Are we ready to participate in the evolution of love? Oh my God. Yes. And cry out the yes and scream out the yes and actually find the yes of the Big Bang that you initiated, because where could you have been other than right there? You did it. It's all you. And your yes is the evolutionary impulse awakening to itself as conscious evolution, as you, as evolutionary love. And the word is good, and its insides are aligned with love. All of reality is a love story, not a metaphoric love story, not a Pollyannish love story, but the actual eros, core to our first values and first principles, which we're demonstrating in the interior and exterior sciences. Reality is eros. It is amor.